the Labor Day Classic is a benchmark in the CFL season, and the Eskimos have made winning it a tradition. Last year, Calgary's Doug Flutie endured a rough initiation. He tied a team record, throwing 6 interceptions in one game alone. The magic he wielded throughout the season vanished in the face of the Eskimo mystique, suffering through another Edmonton display of domination. That defeat is the last time the Stampeders have been beaten at McMahon Stadium. This season, Doug Flutie is unsurpassed in virtually every CFL passing department. And when his receivers are grounded, he takes off, leaving defenses in disarray. In the process, the CFL record book is about to be rewritten, and Flutie's Stampeders are on a rampage. Undefeated in 9 games, a perfect season at the halfway mark. But the Stampeders have yet to play the Eskimos, and Willie Pless, the leading man on the CFL's leading defense. And while their 6-3 record pales by Calgary comparison, the Eskimos remain the standard by which the Stampeders are judged in Alberta. It's the Eskimos and the Stampeders, the Labor Day Battle of Alberta.
The CFL on CBC. Today, from McMahon Stadium in Calgary, the Edmonton Eskimos against the Calgary Stampeders.
Back-to-back, it's the Labor Day doubleheader on the CFL on CBC. Welcome to McMahon Stadium, where we're about to kick it all off. The Eskimos and Stampeders at stake today. Calgary's perfect 9-0 record and, of course, football supremacy in the province of Alberta. At 6 Eastern, part 2 of our doubleheader at Iverwin Stadium. It's the Argos and Ticats at stake there, perhaps the very tradition itself. To talk more about that, Scott Oakes standing by live now at Iverwin. Scott?
Well, Mark, most of the stories coming out of Iverwin Stadium this year have had to do with the Cats' financial statement, but thankfully the focus tonight will be on football. It's just the way it is when the Argos make that bus ride down the QEW on Labor Day. The Cats are expecting their largest crowd of the season, although perhaps consistent with their luck, it's been raining here all day, and that almost certainly will affect the walk-up crowd. At the center of this rivalry tonight will be Reggie Slack and Don McPherson. Slack gets his second straight start at quarterback for Toronto, and the Cats are going back to McPherson as their starter. The Toronto team bus arrives here in about an hour. Argo veterans who've played here on Labor Day know how charged the atmosphere will be, and those who have not we'll soon find out. So, Mark, this classic follows the classic you've got going in Calgary. I would say this is a classic kind of day on CBC Sports, wouldn't you?
Scott, I would say, indeed, football fever is in the air. You know, if there's one thing Doug Flutie has not accomplished as a Stampeder, and there is one, it's beating the Eskimos in a Labor Day Classic. And perhaps Flutie's greatest hour against the Eskimos came last year on a cold, bitter night here at McMahon Stadium, when in dramatic fashion he rescued the Stamps with a dying seconds touchdown to beat the Eskimos in the Western Final. That was the last time these two teams met in the CFL. The Eskimos, meanwhile, are on a 3-game winning streak, and this man leads their defense, a defense that continues to be Edmonton's strong suit. They're number 1 in the CFL, allowing an average of only 17 points against per game, but they're up against a Stampeder team that normally scores 3 times that. Well, for their thoughts, let's go up to the booth now to Chris and Dan.
Thanks, Mark, and good afternoon, everybody. They've called Doug Flutie the Michael Jordan of the CFL, and like Jordan, he has a great supporting cast, Cap, and an emerging star in Canadian receiver Dave Sapunjas.
Well, Dave Sapunjas has really established himself as the go-to guy for 2 reasons. 1, his incredible athletic ability, and 2, because of the unfortunate injury to Alan Pitts. He brings into this game 58 catches. He's on track right now to be the first Canadian receiver with 100 catches in a season.
Now, Doug Flutie can turn a game with 1 play. If there's another player on the football field today that can do that, it's Gizmo Williams of the Eskimos.
Mr. Excitement. He brings to him a lot of things when he comes to the park. 1 is instant field position. Every time in a return situation that he touches the ball, he can get your team in a good position. But the best thing that he's very excited about is that he's established himself as legit wide receiver this year.
And he'll be working against a rookie cornerback today, Douglas Kraft of the Stampeders. Eskimos have won 4 of the last 5 meetings. Mark?
Chris, a hint of autumn in the air as we make the turn toward the CFL fall season. It's the Labor Day Classic. It's next when we come back to McMahon Stadium in Calgary.
Which began in 1960 is renewed today on a picture-perfect football afternoon in the foothills. The Eskimos and Stampeders are ready. And the Calgary Stampeders await the opening kickoff from Sean Fleming. And it will be Brian Wiggins from his 11-yard line. Wiggins has a seam and across the 30 to the 35 before he's tripped up. Pretty good return to start this football game for the Stampeders. Sean Fleming, the kicker, was the man who tripped him up after the 25-yard kickoff return. Well, here's Doug Flutie, who had 6 interceptions on Labor Day a year ago. He has just 6 in the opening half of this 93 season. Yep.
A lot of things to remember right now. This man has accomplished a number of things in the CFL career so far. The one thing that he wants to do is to regain himself as far as the Labor Day victory that they lost last year.
He'll work out of the shotgun. First play from scrimmage, and it's in the flat. Will Moore, and he is met by Ed Barry returning to the Eskimo lineup at the 40-yard line. It's a gain of close to 5 for Flutie and the Stampeders.
After a gain of about 5 yards.
Well, Dan mentioned off the top that Alan Pitts is, again, not in the lineup after undergoing arthroscopic surgery a couple of weeks ago. But still plenty of weapons at his disposal. At the 41-yard line, it's 2nd and 5, Stampeders. Sapunjas in motion. And a flag goes down before they get the play off. And a time count violation against Flutie.
A little confusion in the back end there. Doug Flutie was setting up in a shotgun formation, had both Kevan Jenkins and McVie in the backfield.
And here are the offensive weapons Doug Flutie has at his disposal. Crawford and Wiggins will be outside. Sapunjas, the key man, inside, and an offensive line that has stayed intact throughout this season. Big Bruce Coverdson, the left tackle, at 300 pounds. 2nd down over and 10, and the Stampeders operating with their 6-back, 6 receivers. And Flutie with great protection. Leroy Blue now looking to track him down. Look at the time as Flutie tries to buy some more. Now runs past Willie Pless downfield over the head of Dave Sapunjas. What great coverage by the Eskimos. How much time can they give Doug Flutie?
Terrific coverage and assist. The back end stayed with their man. As soon as Doug Flutie started to scramble around, the defensive secondary locked in with their guys, stayed with him, forced the defensive lineman to have to chase Doug Flutie around. And the one thing that was unusual there, Doug had some running room ahead of him and decided to try to throw the ball and release it downfield. Something that we have seen him do a number of times this year.
For the Stampeders back there is on.
Eddie Brown and Gizmo Williams have dropped deep. Gizmo, the all-time punt return leader, as Tony Martino sends it downfield, and it will be Gizmo from his 28-yard line. And away he goes. Gizmo across the 40 into open field. And he dropped the ball, and the Stampeders have recovered it. Gerald Biggs picks up the ball. Tony Martino, the punter, forced the fumble.
This is something Tony Martino made, was the last-ditch effort, and all of a sudden got up into Gizmo's face and was able to slap the ball away. Big scene. The special teams of Edmonton Eskimos know for a fact all I have to do is get down, make my block, and this guy has the ability to make 6 points happen on the board. Simple tackle, nothing physical about it. Giz just lost the handle on the ball, and Biggs comes in with a big recovery.
Raymond Biggs, the rookie linebacker. Tony Martino must have played a little linebacker in his old days. Pretty good play to give Calgary the football back. 2:15 into this first quarter, and they give it to Kevan Jenkins. The veteran running back feeds his way across midfield down to the 53. Willie Pless, the all-Canadian, makes the tackle.
Brought down by number 39.
And let's check this Eskimo defensive core, which has allowed the fewest touchdowns this year. The front three, Tony Woods out of Oklahoma is the nose tackle, a great linebacking core. Plesson Ruck, Leroy Blue, Malvin Hunter, and a vastly improved secondary. Ed Berry is back. Don Wilson having a strong year, as is rookie Glenn Rogers. They have 4 receivers to the right side, and it's out to that side to the rookie Brian Wiggins, down to the 50-yard line, but he'll be short of the first down.
He takes it inside the 50-yard line of the Eskimos.
Ed Berry, the cornerback, with the tackle on Wiggins.
His screen outside to Wiggins, and Doug Parrish, the outside halfback, that comes in as the nickelback, does a great job of coming up, forcing the play very quickly, and allowing and making Wiggins to have to cut back inside to pursuit, where the Eskimos were able to put him and take him down to the ground.
All right, another chance for Gizmo as he drops deep with Eddie Brown. And Martino set for his second punt. Looking to angle it, but Gizmo there again from his 6. Gizmo trying to go wide. Alondra Johnson gets a piece of him, and he's finally down at the 17-yard line by the safety, Greg Knox. Eskimos getting set for their first possession. The CFL on CBC Crew back at McMahon Stadium in Calgary as we await the first possession of the game for the Eskimos, who will start first down at their own 17-yard line. Damon Allen, the starting quarterback for the 6-3 Edmonton Eskimos. They give to Michael Souls up the middle, and Souls up to about the 20-yard line. The Eskimos hoping to establish the run against the Stampeders this afternoon. There are the numbers on Damon Allen. They say he has been getting better each week, Dan, with perhaps a stutter step against Sacramento last week.
I think Coach Lancaster was very happy in the sense that he thought he was getting sharper and sharper, both mentally and physically on the field. He did take a couple of steps backward against Sacramento, but he knows that he's going to regroup, particularly in this game.
2nd and 7 for the Eskimos. Out in the flat, Casey Dunn, and he's met immediately by the rookie Douglas Kraft. Kraft playing his first game as a starter for the Stampeders, and he looked sharp on that play.
Kraft has been in this Stampeder organization. He was there in training camp, there in preseason. The Eskimos have actually played against him before. So Coach Lancaster knew a lot about him and felt they were not going to be that weak on the corner as much as everybody thought they would.
So it's 3rd down, and Glenn Harper into the game. And Derek Crawford is the deep man for the Stampeders. A former punt return partner of Gizmo Williams with the Memphis Showboats.
Derek Crawford, 83, and Brian Wiggins, 80.
Brian Wiggins is also back. And it will be Wiggins from his own 46. A no yards penalty goes down, and Wiggins pulled down on the play by Jed Roberts. And they'll sort out the flag. Ken Lazaruk is the referee for today's game.
No yards. Edmonton, number 28, 15-yard penalty. First down, Calgary.
28 is the reserve safety Trent Brown of the University of Alberta.
Harper's punt.
So a good start for the Eskimo defense. They have stopped Doug Flutie in 2 straight series. A far cry from the preseason game when Flutie played the first quarter against the Eskimos defense and rolled to a 21-0 lead.
Certainly have to consider that somewhat of a victory, because definitely in that second and long situation, the Eskimo defense gave Flutie some serious problems.
Flutie has a completion. It's Derek Crawford down at the 38-yard line. Glenn Rogers Jr. with the tackle on Crawford.
And it is a Stampeder first down.
And it's a Stampeder first down.
Doug has seen most defenses of what people have tried to do and how they're going to try to stop him. Obviously, it's going to take him a series of 2, thinking, in fact, that the Eskimo defense is going to come in here and try to do something with a little bit of a different wrinkle in it to try to throw him off his game.
Well, they say Crawford has been more accessible to Doug Flutie this year as a wide receiver. There it is, first down. He has a man open and misses Will Moore cutting across the middle, and Flutie would like to have that one back.
Overshot it, wide open.
The Eskimo defense are notorious, and they have special matchup kind of routes that they do. As far as defensive backs, when they take a look, they may let one route go to the flat and then pick up the second route, or if the defense dictates that they pick up the first route and then let the second route go to the secondary. Obviously, there's some miscommunication on that play right there because Will Moore was wide open. Doug Flutie doesn't miss that opportunity very often.
Offensive coordinator John Huffnagel with Wally Bono on the sidelines. They have the draw play to Keevan Jenkins, and he was tripped up before he got to the 30-yard line, and Jenkins will be short to the first down.
Short of the first down marker.
Good situation with Doug trying to run the ball inside with Keevan. He spreads those 6 receivers across the board, spreads out the defense. It widens the gaps of the defensive lineman, and it doesn't take very much to hit a seam and also pick up a first down or even a score.
They're the numbers for Mark McLaughlin, the leading scorer in the CFL so far this season. Frank Maroff is his holder, and he'll try this field goal from the near hash marks at the 38-yard line. And McLaughlin has put the Stampeders on the board. Calgary scores first in the annual Labor Day Classic.
Welcome back to McMahon Stadium in Calgary, where Wally Buono and his entire Calgary coaching staff is wearing a black ribbon today in support for number 30, Kenton Leonard, who left the team to return home Saturday to Louisiana after the tragic news that his wife, Natalie, 25 years of age, died of a heart attack. Wally Buono saying to Kenton, come back when you can. You'll always have a job. This game is big, but sometimes real life brings everybody back to earth. Chris?
Well, Mark, the Stampeders have dedicated this football game to Kenton Leonard, and of course we offer our deepest condolences to the Leonard family. So Damon Allen will bring his offensive unit on for the second time in the game. Eddie Brown has been a big receiver for him this year. 10 touchdowns to lead the Canadian Football League in that department so far. And the offensive line, of course, anchored by All-Canadian center Rod Conop. But it's been an offensive line that's been riddled with the flu the past week or so. Blake Dermott's been on IVs because of dehydration, and they'll be under the gun today. And there is the first sack of the game. Harold Hasselback and Will Johnson converging on Damon Allen. Well, they've got those big Canadian defensive tackles. Harold Hasselback, Stroko Zizakovic, the Johnson boys on the ends, and a great linebacking core anchored by Marvin Pope in the middle. They've been tough to run against since Pope joined this team. Douglas Kraft, we've seen him as the newcomer in the defensive backfield because of the departure for at least this game of Kenton Leonard.
Certainly at this point in the game, not showing any weaknesses whatsoever and playing very inspired football. Obviously, with this game, the Labor Day game brings to itself so much emotion, so much enthusiasm that goes on. But the fact is about...
violation. Edmonton number 9, 5-yard penalty.
The added adrenaline pump of Kenton Leonard and that devastation that happened with his family is something that is really going to inspire the whole Calgary team, but primarily watch this defense today.
All right, how about second and...
Time count violation against Damon Allen makes it now 2nd and 24. What's he got? From his own 15, he calls his own number. It looked like a mix-up in the backfield, Pep, and down he goes again.
I think exactly, you called it right, Chris. It looked like he was going to fake the hot, almost come back to a Statue of Liberty play where he's going to hand off in the backfield. He's going to fake the hot right there, try to give it inside to Michael Soles. They miscommunicate the handoff, and then Damon's left doing whatever he can do to try to salvage something. This is a very, very quick, aggressive defensive front 7 of Calgary, and one of their greatest assets is their speed. They can chase you down, and not only when they chase you down, then they catch you, then they can hurt you.
Second time that the Calgary defense has stopped the Edmonton Eskimos deep in their own zone, so it should be good field position again for Doug Flutie. Harper with a booming kick, and it's Wiggins from his 46 again. No yards will be the call against the Eskimos. J.P. Escuerdo was inside that 5-yard restraining area.
Harper's punt, 44 yards.
mean, you can't keep giving Doug Flutie this kind of field position.
Well, it's tough enough. Anywhere that you lead Doug Flutie.
Edmonton number 23, 15-yard penalty. First down, Calgary.
Anytime that you put Dick Flutie on the field, he can make things happen from it. But every time that you give him the ball inside the 50 or inside the 55-yard line, it's going to be even tougher because then it only takes a play or two, and they're already in field goal range.
Will bring you the message right to your seat. 540-2377.
So it's been a sputtering start so far for Doug Flutie. 6 minutes, 35 seconds to go, first quarter.
First and 10 steps at the Edmonton 49.
And he operates with 5 receivers out. Jenkins in the backfield. Flutie gets rid of it quickly, and it's knocked down at the line of scrimmage by Willie Platz.
Down at the line of scrimmage, incomplete.
Top offensive player in the CFL last year against the top defensive player.
Couldn't ask for a better match right there. Doug Flutie comes out to the weak side. He's got trips to the wide side of the field, but he goes back to the two-man receiver on the weak side and going to hit the quick slant. Willie Platz is not accounted for, but just slides across. He's out of Doug Flutie's vision. Gets airborne and gets his hands up and knocks it down. Great play by Willie Platz.
Second and 10 for Flutie and the Stampeders. He throws in the near flat. It's complete to Derek Crawford in front of Ed Berry. Out of bounds at the 40-yard line. He'll be at least a yard shy of the first down.
This is the very pass right now that Doug Flutie, when he first came into the league, said he was quite afraid of. As far as throwing the wide side out, he said, I just can't believe that you can throw the ball that far out there. I don't know if I have the arm enough to get there. Now, over the past year or so, he has become very comfortable with being able to go to it. He buys a little bit more time. He spreads it out as far as pushing to the corner, and then he's got the arm strength to get the ball out there with a lot of velocity on it, and it's been a big play for him for the past 2 years.
They threw that ball 35 yards, and they only get 9 on the reception. And so the measurement shows that they're at least a yard shy. And Wally Buono has elected to send the field goal unit on.
And that's a throw. If he's throwing it 35 yards, it has to be on the money, and it has to be delivered exactly right, or else if that defensive back times it, it's going 65 yards the other way for 6 points.
Wally apparently not in a gambling mood unless they've got some kind of gadget play off this. No, McLaughlin kicks it, and it's blocked at the line. So the Eskimos defense continues to shine. A blocked field goal, and Don Wilson came down with the ball, and the Eskimos will get great field position.
The Edmonton Eskimo defense and the team is plus 23 in the takeaway giveaway categories. They have thrown 8 interceptions. They have intercepted 18. All of a sudden, they've only fumbled the ball 7 times. They recovered 16 fumbles. And here's the guy, Johnson, that they got out of the trade from Toronto that has been a mainstay since he's been in the starting lineup.
Yep, he's no basketball player. That was a rejection by the 6'6" ex-center, and now a defensive tackle. And Carl Anthony jostling in the flat with the intended receiver, Gary Morris.
Carl Anthony, number 19.
So it'll be 2nd and 10, Edmonton.
Like you said, Leonard just wanted to say, once you bring it in the paint, don't bring any weak stuff in here, because it's going back the other way.
First block of the season by the Eskimos. On a field goal attempt, Bruce Dixon had a punt block earlier this season.
At the 42.
Extra DB in for Calgary on a passing situation. 2nd and 10 for Damon Allen. He pulls it down, and Allen will scamper to the Calgary sidelines, out of bounds, shy of the first down. We'll see where they mark it around the 50. Ken Watson, the cornerback, forced him out.
Ken Watson.
Allen sets up again. It's a compliment to the secondary of Calgary defense. They've got everybody covered, and the main thing is that they stay with everybody again. When Damon starts to scramble around, one of the situations that you don't want to get into is trying to chase Damon down when he hasn't crossed the line of scrimmage, because then that opens up more space in the secondary for him to dump the ball off to. Secondary was very disciplined, stayed back, forced Damon to cross the line of scrimmage, and then they came up to make the tackle.
Crawford, the lone man,
Keep man for the Stampeders.
on 3rd and 2.
Now Brian Wiggins drops
And now
off.
Brian Wiggins drops
First
off.
down.
4:40 to go, first quarter. And it It's 3-0 Calgary. This is Crawford. And Jed Roberts meets him at the 30-yard line. That's where Calgary will put the ball in play when we return.
The 30-yard line.
38,205. That's capacity at McMahon Stadium here in Calgary. When the box office opened on a glorious day here today, this morning, they were 500 short. Organizers think they'll have a sellout. Another red-letter day for the CFL. Sellout in Regina yesterday, another one here today. What more could you ask for, Chris?
Even Joe Farragelli's here.
I think that was it. That's old Coach Pop Farragelli there.
He was in the middle of a few of these.
Oh, was he ever? And I mean physically in the middle of it. He would get in there. He liked to push and shove and talk a little bit.
You know, Ron Lancaster, when we chatted with him last night, you could tell he was eager. I mean, it's a special day, and it's also a chance for a head coach to see how good his team is when they meet an unbeaten squad led by Doug Flutie.
But when you take a look at these rosters, and you see the youth on these rosters, they're just not old enough to know exactly how much rivalry is really between Edmonton and Calgary. The main thing is I think the two coaches, Wally and Coach Lancaster, are more excited about it than some of the players out there.
There's Dave Sapunjas with his first catch of the day. Don Wilson pulling him down. And the ball at the 36-yard line, and a gain of 6 for Sapunjas.
Eskimo defense felt it was very important that they get wide rushes. They've got to get up the field and get quick containment outside and eventually hopefully try to make Doug Flutie pull up. Then those interior guys, Woods and Goods, have to be very disciplined as far as trying to put Doug Flutie on the ground.
Flutie rolling right, 2nd and 4, has a completion to Will Moore. Up at the 52, Don Wilson in pursuit, but Moore has the first down catch. Will Moore out of Texas Southern. In fact, he was a college roommate to Brian Wiggins, also in this offensive set for Calgary.
We talked to Rich Stubler a bit about the defensive strategy going into this thing and said most defensive teams are used to having this quarterback set up at around 7.5 yards. They think Doug Flutie's throw zone and his release zone is somewhere around 10 or 11 yards. So you have to make an adjustment as far as your angle of rushing him.
Play action over the middle, overthrows the intended receiver, Dave Sapunjas. And that one sailed on Doug, and Sapunjas was open.
This is 2 wide open receivers that Doug Flutie has overthrown. This is something that you won't see happen very often. Sapunjas comes inside. He gets an inside release on Wilson, able to outleg him. He's wide open. And Doug just doesn't hit his mark.
Alan Pitts not in the lineup last week, and Sapunjas came up with a 7-catch, 124-yard game. So he's the go-to guy now. Flutie, time, and now he'll pull it down across the 50. Flutie has a first down and a lot more. I think the speed is underrated. He was able to get out of bounds without anybody laying a hand on him. A 25-yard pickup for number 20.
Well, there was definitely one guy, Damon Lyons, that underrated his speed. Doug Flutie's doing an exceptional job. He's directing traffic up there. He's looking. There's no receiver. Now he takes it on himself. And once he makes this break out here, he makes a little step here. Some of those guys in the secondary think that he's going to slide or go down. Not at all. He uses some good speed, gets around the corner, picks up a big first down, keeps his drive alive.
First down for the Stampeders at the Eskimo 35. 2:15 left, first quarter. 3-0 Stampeder lead. Good protection. Almost picked off in the flat. Damian Lyons had a shot at the ball and his 4th interception.
Damian Lyons started in front.
Intended receiver
Knocked it down.
was Derek Crawford.
2 things happened there. The Eskimo defense got a little heat on Doug Flutie right at the last minute. That's Johnson coming in there, forced him to throw it a little bit off balance. Doug didn't have as much zip on that pass as he normally would have. That allowed Damian Lyons to be able to make the break on the ball. Good coverage, just didn't get his hands on enough to be able to bring it in for the interception.
They say Lyons the best man-on-man cover man for the Eskimos. Here's Flutie. All the way across the field and finally run out by Jed Roberts. Great pursuit by Roberts. And the Stampeders will have to go for another field goal.
2 things. The key here that you can see is, one is Doug Flutie is being chased. That is to the advantage of the Calgary Stampeders. If not, if that Edmonton defense was able to get upfield very quickly and force Doug Flutie to have to pull up, that allows the pursuit from the backside to at least have a shot at it.
Mark McLaughlin has had a kick blocked by Leonard Johnson in this game, and his longest of the season is 43 yards. This is an attempt of close to 49. And there's a timeout on the field called by the Stampeders. Confusion there as they didn't have enough men on the field.
Stampeders call timeout. Alberta Treasury Branch has a long history of helping Alberta. ATB's philosophy has always been
look forward to
full range of
a good matchup in the second half of our Labor Day Classic doubleheader. The Argonauts and the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Both teams have struggled this year, Kep, but it's Labor Day, and the animosity between the two teams just seems to increase on Labor Day Monday.
It certainly does, and I think at this point, Hamilton making the call of McPherson, getting the start there, and he's got to get in there and make something happen for this team.
Here's McLaughlin's attempt. He is wide to the left, and Gizmo Williams lets it go through the end zone for a single point. So the Stampeders just 1 for 3 in field goal attempts, and only have a 4-point lead here with 1:17 left in a quarter that they have had excellent field position.
Something that Calgary probably is unaccustomed to, is not scoring very early in football games. And they got to be going out, having to scratch their head, making some adjustments. I'm sure John Hufnagel, the offensive coordinator, will be in conversation with Doug Flutie. And then on the other side of the ball, the Edmonton Eskimos have to consider it a victory to be, at this point, have given the ball up to Doug Flutie in their own side of the field and only having to give up 4 points.
Edmonton scrimmaging where the line of scrimmage for Calgary was the 41, and this is Brian Walling working his way up to the 47, and a gain of close to 6 yards for Walling. Alondra Johnson, who had a lot to say prior to this game, made the tackle.
Eric Johnson.
Well, it's one of those things. If you're going to talk it, you better walk it, and I think AJ can certainly walk it. He said anybody that comes across the middle, particularly Eddie Brown, he's going to take him down. He's going to hit him so hard, he's not going to want to come in there. We're going to punish these guys. We're the champions. They're coming into our backyard, and there are no way that they're going to beat us today.
Second down 4, and Gizmo Williams drops the ball. Henry Williams, a vastly improved receiver this year for the Eskimos, but he should have had that one.
Certainly is, and it shows he's vastly improved, but the main thing is that you still have to do the basics, and the basics are you got to look the ball in, concentrate it, catch the ball first before you make the move to run. He knew he was going to get hit by it. He had the first down already by the time the ball hit his hands. Damon will come back, make sure that Giz keeps his confidence as far as being able to throw to him very quickly.
Men, Derek Crawford, Brian Wiggins, as the clock is winding down here in this first quarter. And this should be the final play. Harper angling it to the sidelines and out of bounds, and they will mark it at the 27-yard line. That's the end of the first quarter here in Calgary, where the unbeaten Stampeders have a 4-0 lead.
The CFL on CBC, brought to you by Dodge Trucks, the most powerful line of trucks anywhere.
Yes, Stampeder fans have been riding high this year. Perfect 9-0 record. There are fans from Edmonton here, and a jam-packed McMahon Stadium on a gorgeous afternoon, Labor Day afternoon in Calgary, 1993. We start the second quarter. Stampeders have a first down. Keevan Jenkins right up the middle, and close to the 35-yard line for Keevan.
Gain of 8 yards.
And here are the numbers
Number 47,
in that first quarter. Net yards, just 14 for Damon Allen's offense.
Certainly is, and I think the point is, Coach Lancaster said last night, that one of the knocks against Damon is the fact he's come out fairly conservative. He knows against a team like Calgary, you've got to come out and open it up, make things happen early in the ball game.
Eskimos doing a good job defensively against Flutie. Here it's second and short, and a completion to Pee Wee Smith up at the 45-yard line. It's a first down.
It is complete to number 86, Pee Wee Smith.
Way to go, baby.
Well, Pee Wee had to sit down for a game, didn't like it, and he is back now in the lineup. Part of that 6-receiver package that Wally Buono will employ.
Stampeders grab another first down.
Plenty of time to throw the ball, and that's the main key here. As long as Doug Flutie has that kind of time and nobody around him and he's got clear vision down the field, he's going to complete the passes. A lot of pressure on Edmonton to try to at least get up in the field, make Doug Flutie do something a little different than he normally would have to do.
First down from the 45, out in the flat, Sapunjas on the swing pass, and he's down near the 50 by Malvin Hunter, the rookie linebacker out of Wisconsin.
He gets a gain of about 4 yards.
Misdirection, little play-action pass as far as trying to go one way, get the defense to float to the wide side of the field. Sapunjas comes in and blocks as the backside slot back, and then all he's trying to do is slide out, dump the ball off on the screen. Malvin Hunter's going to have nothing to do with it. Gets through on his charge upfield, turns around, recognizes the play, then turns around, shows great speed in being able to track down Sapunjas from behind.
Second down, 5, Stampeders. Here comes the rush. Flutie flushed out, throwing, and it's almost picked off. Doug Parrish, the extra deep back, almost had the pick.
14, Doug Parrish.
And it'll be third down.
But it falls incomplete.
If you just open your eyes there, Chris, all of a sudden that looked like one of the passes and one of the plays that happened last Labor Day when Edmonton came up with 6 interceptions. There was a lot of passes that were thrown a little bit off balance or came off the receiver's hands and tipped. Edmonton Eskimos were around and came up with a big interception.
So the defensive struggle continues here. 2 minutes into the second quarter.
Gizmo Williams, number 2, and Eddie Brown, number 4, are the return men.
Tony Martino near the sidelines, and Gizmo has no room.
And Tony Martino.
So when we return, it'll be Eskimo football at their 20.
No chance.
They're talking perfect season here in Calgary as the Stampeders reach the halfway mark at 9-0. The last time they did that was back in 1948, the first year the Stamps won the Grey Cup. They were 12-0, and a big tight end on that team was Sugarfoot Anderson. And I guess you're as good a source as any. Can anybody beat the Stamps this year?
No, I don't think anybody can beat them if they keep going like they're going, but really they're playing down to the rest of the ball club's level. But if they come out with attitude that they had in the Grey Cup, the last Grey Cup, they'll be winners.
Sugarfoot, they're over the ball. We'll finish our chat right after this play. Stay with us.
Okay.
David Allen, nice fake up the middle, and he has a completion to J.P. Escuerdo, and he is taken down heavily by Alondra Johnson as we rejoin Mark.
Now, Sugarfoot back in 48, you guys were 12-0. Then you won 10 more in the 49 season. That's 22-0. Tell me about that year.
Well, it was a great year. It's beautiful when you can come out and you got control of everything. You know you can beat. Everybody's gunning at you, but you know that you can beat these ball clubs, and it's a wonderful feeling. We had all the fans behind us, too, and I'll tell you, it's great.
Well, you were a big gun back there. Then they retired you 0-0. Likely do the same for Doug Flutie when it's all done here. Thanks for your time, Sugarfoot.
Thank you.
Okay.
And the more things change, the more they stay the same, because Calgary seems to have the same feeling in 1993 that maybe the only team that can beat them is themselves.
Well, that's exactly right, but the main thing is that they can't look past anybody on this. They have to go about every game as if it's a championship game, and so far for the first 9 games, they've accomplished that.
Took almost 19 minutes for the first Eskimo first down of the game. There's Gizmo, and he drops the football. Let's see, are they ruling incompletion or fumble? Ken Watson has the ball, and the Stampeders have a turnover. Ron Lancaster's heated up. We'll have to have another look at it, but I thought Gizmo made the catch.
I thought he had made the catch and had hit the ground, and then the ball was down, and obviously the ground cannot cause a fumble, but we're going to get a replay of this thing and see if we can take a chance, and we'll make our call up here.
All right, guys, you got
Damon's got plenty of time to throw the ball, and there's the Giz, makes a great catch, reaching behind him. The ball's down, his knee's down, you can't see it, it comes out right at the last minute. We can't see exactly where it comes out. The ref came in from the back side. We may get a little better angle of it here.
the opposition fumble.
Second fumble of the game for Williams. And the Stampeders have the ball at the Edmonton 40. Flutie steps up, throwing Will Moore. Pushed out of bounds, but he has the catch. Glenn Rogers taking him out, but it's a first down Calgary.
Really showing great touch of being able to hit Will Moore in between the zones. They run the cut coverage over on the other side. They've got the cornerback up. Ed Berry playing in the short flat. Don Wilson is behind it, and then all of a sudden, there comes Glenn Rogers Jr. in to try to make the tackle and stop a big gain.
Moore comes out for a play to get his helmet adjusted. Rushes on Flutie, but he gets outside Tony Woods. Shovel pass, incomplete, out of bounds. Good pressure by Tony Woods, the defensive tackle on that play.
Tony Woods comes in scot-free, and then all of a sudden, Doug Flutie, unfortunately, is just toying with him a bit. Woods knows he's getting pumps up. He's trying to come in there in full speed. The thing you need to do, you've got to rush Doug Flutie on his outside shoulder and really be under control and be able to make the move. Doug Flutie has tremendous foot speed, as we have seen in the past years, being able to get outside, buys a little bit more time, smartly throws the ball away just so they can get another snap.
Second and 10 at the Eskimo 22-yard line. Flutie fires, and it was knocked down at the line.
Really pressed again with a hand. Gets in the middle of the field, and as the quarterback starts to look outside, you never physically see in your peripheral vision that middle linebacker starting to slide out. And the key of the middle linebacker, he's reading the head of Doug Flutie. He's reading his eye. Willie Press comes out of the right of your screen, gets his hands up, knocks it down. Perfect play.
And so the defense holds again.
On the field now to attempt a 29-yard field goal.
And McLaughlin will try to add 3 points to the lead from the 29. And he misses again. And these could come back to haunt the Stampeders. 1 point. And it's a 5-0 lead.
For a single point.
Stadium coming up on Live at the Half. Canadian University football begins another season amid uncertainty over professional opportunities in a CFL without import quotas. We'll go live to Queen's University for a perspective. We'll also go live to Hamilton for a preview of part 2 of our Labor Day doubleheader, the Argos and Tiger Cats. Fritz?
Mark, there was an intriguing matchup this weekend. The University of Alberta, the University of Manitoba, and a Lancaster story we will get to as Damon Allen airs it out. Gizmo just fails to pull it in. Well, the Stampeders have a lot of respect for Damon Allen's long ball ability and that man's speed.
He certainly does. After talking with Lancaster yesterday, he said he actually throws the deep ball. I'm talking about 40 or 50 yards. A lot better than he throws a 30-yard pass. For some reason, it seems like with the trajectory coming off of Damon's hands, a lot of times he throws the ball and it sails on him. In this case, he can put the ball. Coach Lancaster felt very comfortable at 60 or 70 yards. If he throws the ball, he can put it on the money, and it was on the money there.
Yeah, that pass scraped Gizmo's fingertips. Here's a pass in the flat, and it's complete to Casey Dunn.
Good job, Casey. Damon
Allen took a hit on the play. That should be
the first down marker,
first down
45
for the Eskimos.
Douglas Kraft on the tackle.
Just straight drop back, looking to the short side of the field. Damon knows he's going to get hit. Zezakovic is in there very quickly to get around the ankles, but Damon, to his credit, stands in there and delivers the ball on the money.
Stampeders have a sack in the game. They're 28th of the year. The Eskimos, ranked 4th in protecting the quarterback, have given up 19 sacks so far this year. Here's Allen on the misdirection. Across the 50, diving to midfield. He'll be close to another first down.
To midfield.
Will Johnson the tackle, but Damon does bring this element to the Eskimo offense.
Fakes the counter, and then he comes out on the naked boot all by himself. Eddie Brown, the receiver on the slot on the inside, is down there blocking against Vaughn. Does a good job. That allows Damon to come out all by himself. It's run all the way. He's not looking to throw that ball.
Ron Lancaster says Damon Allen is starting to understand what he can do with the offensive plan of the Eskimos. Somebody jumped along that offensive line.
I think you're going to see the right guard, Steve Krupe.
Legal procedure. Edmonton, number 56. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Now Adam Rita draws up the game plan. but Damon Allen has his ability to put his own stamp or personality on that game plan.
Well, I think the thing that they've learned very much about being around athletes, that you don't come in with a system and say, here, you fit my system. The coaches of the teams now that are having great success come in, take a look at the kind of athletes they have, and then they devise a system that fits best to what those athletes can do.
Allen scrambling, Souls in the flat. He stepped out of bounds.
On the sideline.
Close to the Calgary 50-yard line.
Stepping out of bounds.
And a gain of about 4 to 5 on the play.
Damon's already established himself to the fact that he can be a threat of scrambling the ball. So now when he makes that break up toward the line of scrimmage, he really tests the discipline of the defense of Calgary to stay back, make him cross that line. If not, he'll deliver the ball as he just did.
Out in the flat, and somebody got a hand on that, intended for Casey Dunn, falling incomplete.
For number 72, Casey Dunn. Whacked its way to the turf, incomplete. It is
Will Johnson apparently got his hand up to deflect that pass. Will, 6'5", 245-pound defensive end. Talk so much about Doug Flutie, but this Calgary Stampeder defense, number 2 in yards allowed this year. They're number 1 against the rush. And the Eskimos have had trouble moving the football against them in this first half.
Well, when you see defense being played the way we've seen it so far in this first half, it brings a warm spot to my heart, I have to admit.
Great high punt sailing into the end zone by Harper. And Crawford will just let it roll out of touch. Single point Eskimos, they're on the board, trailing 5-1.
Lee Bailey, please report to the 50-50 trailer.
The brain trust at either side. Ron Lancaster told his troops today to have fun. It doesn't get much better than Labor Day against an arch rival with a full house.
He said it's just a 2-point game. It doesn't matter anything. We got to line it up again next week. But go out there and have some fun with it.
He also wanted to see how his team could do against a 9-0 squad, and you still get the impression in Calgary, at least from the fans, that they want to see if their team can consistently beat the arch rivals from Edmonton. There's a pass going incomplete through the hands of
number 86,
Pee Wee Smith.
Is incomplete.
It is a little bit of a sad commentary to the fact you could go, say, conceivably 17-1, and the guy said, yeah, but you lost that Labor Day game against Edmonton again.
Well, Wally says it's like the homecoming game. If you don't win homecoming, the fans are a little discontent.
You've ruined everybody's holiday.
Second down at 10.
It's been no holiday for either offense so far. See what the Stamps do on 2nd and 10. They converted 47% this year, tops in the league. Sapunjas laying out, but can't bring it in.
Down floating pass intended for David Sapunjas near.
And once again, the Stampeders are in a punting situation.
Here's what happens a lot of times with receivers, as far as a lot of times when you're in the backside and the play is going to go away from you. The normal tendency and the human tendency is to get a little lazy with the routes and everything else. But when you've got a guy like Doug Flutie running the quarterback behind you, all of a sudden you don't know where he's going to end up. You don't know which side he's going to scramble to. So you're continually working to try to get open, as Dave Sapunjas did right there. And eventually, Doug Flutie will try to get the ball to you.
5-1, Calgary leads, 6:14 to go, second quarter. As Martino sends it downfield to Eddie Brown. Brown spins off one tackle, and now he's down. Ray Biggs makes the tackle.
Tackle by number 70.
40-yard punt, -5 on the return.
Of a yard. A 39-yard kick. Doug Parrish wandered around.
To their credit, the Calgary
found him for a loss of
specialty teams there on the punt were the first 3 punts that they did. They kicked the ball right to Giz and challenged their coverage team to get down there and make the coverage on it. This was the first time that Eddie Brown was able to touch the ball.
Eskimos first and 10 to 35.
Inside handoff to Walling, and there wasn't a hole there. Sreko Zizikovic was waiting for him.
Nothing doing. Don't bring it in here. When you think that you got to establish a running game, you got to do something a little more trickier than this. You can't run straight at these guys. I don't think this defense of Calgary is going to allow you to do anything like that. It's tough to run inside. With their speed, it makes it very tough to run outside. Sometimes you don't know what to do.
Well, the Eskimos ran down Calgary's throats last year on Labor Day, 226 yards. Allen is belted. Loose ball. The safety blitz. And it's out of bounds at the 12-yard line. Damon Allen was blasted by safety Greg Knox.
Greg Knox times it exactly perfectly. He comes from the safety spot. He lines up to the wide side like a halfback blitz and then comes. He's not involved in the blocking scheme. And as soon as Damon sees that the safety is gone out of there, he has to realize he's got to release the ball quickly. It's a hot route. Nobody blocks him, and then all of a sudden Greg Knox makes the best of getting a shot. You don't normally get in games, and he puts Damon Allen right on his face.
Got to tell you, Kep, we've got Daryl Moyer, former Calgary safety, as our spotter in the booth, and I think he helped Greg Knox with that hit. Wow. First down. Third fumble of the game by the Eskimos, but the Stamps haven't cast yet. Flutie with time. Over the middle, incomplete. Great coverage there by the middle linebacker, Larry Ruck. Will Moore was the intended receiver.
Doug Flutie had to stay in the pocket that time. The Eskimos were very disciplined as far as getting control rushes, getting upfield, making him step up into the pocket. And when he did step up, he was going to run into some people, so he had to get rid of the ball quickly. Good look at John Hupnagel there on the sideline, the offensive coordinator of the Calgary Stampeders.
4 receivers left, 2 to the right. Lots of time for Flutie. Now into the end zone. Touchdown! Will Moore with the catch, and Doug Flutie finally puts it through.
Compliment to the offensive line of doing an excellent job of keeping these people away from Doug Flutie. He has got all day long. The guys in the secondary of Edmonton are only human. They're only going to be able to cover for so long. And all of a sudden, Will Moore comes from all the way across the field. Doug Flutie just waits and waits, holds onto the ball, able to deliver it right in the corner of the end zone.
Moore's going to keep that as a Labor Day souvenir. McLaughlin adds the extra point, and the Stampeders finally convert a turnover into a major score.
Will Moore's in the slot on the backside. They're running that matchup route. He slides inside, and Don Wilson just gives him a little shove and then realizes, uh-oh, I got to get in that chase. And acceleration from Don Wilson just wasn't quick enough to catch up with Will Moore. Doug Flutie threw the ball on the money.
Mum gets to keep the football, and Will Moore has the first major of the 93 Labor Day Classic.
Hey, check it out. She said, thanks, baby. They're always baby. Mom, don't call me babies in front of all the guys now. Come on.
4:14 to go, second quarter. It all started with the hit by Greg Knox, which knocked the ball away from Damon Allen. Morris and Eddie Brown have dropped deep. And we're told that Gizmo Williams is injured at the Eskimo bench. Trying to get you more on that. Kick goes out of bounds. They'll have to do it over again. Will Moore with his 5th touchdown catch of the year. Just the 11th TD pass against the Eskimos secondary. That's the best in the league.
They've been very stingy with TD passes.
Mentioned Donald Narcisse, who is also a Texas Southern product, as is his teammate Ryan Wiggins.
Benny Goods gets there a day late and $1 short. You've got to be able to get up in Doug Flutie's face. He stands there very, very confident, waits and waits, allows his receivers to get open, out outleg the coverage, and then puts the ball exactly where it needs to be thrown.
More on the receiving end of the 27th touchdown pass of the year from Doug Flutie, 13 shy of the CFL record, held not by this man, surprisingly enough, but by Peter Lisk, the ex-Stampeder quarterback.
When we talked with Ron Lancaster last night, the one thing that he felt it was just crucial, if possible, that the Eskimos jump out on Calgary early, get an early lead, force Doug Flutie to do something that he normally wouldn't do, change his patterns a little bit, play catch-up ball, as opposed to being able to go out there and do the things that he normally does week in and week out, day in and day out. And then this is what we see him doing in the first half of the game.
Here's Morris on the short kickoff across the 40. He gets outside and is finally run out at the Eskimo bench at the 48-yard line.
28 yards.
19-yard return as we head downstairs to Mark.
Well, Chris, the Giz has just returned to the playing field after disappearing into the Eskimo locker room for about 5 to 10 minutes. I asked him what was wrong. He said he has a pulled hamstring. It appears he's had that wrapped up and is coming back, and we may see him back in the lineup shortly.
Bad news, though, for the Eskimos. The pulled hamstring is an injury that's not going to go away in the next quarter or two.
Well, they've got a patchwork type of receiving core right now, and if Giz goes out, it really puts a lot of strain on him.
Knocked down, Sreko Zizakovic. And right now, Calgary gets the edge in line play on both sides of the ball.
Good job there. At the last minute, you really work hard as a defensive lineman, trying to get upfield, force your rush inside, get the pressure, but when you know you're not going to get there, then get up, get your hands up as Sreko did, be able to get a good knockout.
See, he's got the glass cutter's glove since that interception against Ottawa a few weeks ago.
Right. Those receivers, you know, he may come up with another 6 points here coming.
There's a pass to Esquerdo and a completion out of bounds at the Eskimo bench. It's a first down for J.P. Esquerdo, the former Argo and a University of Calgary product.
What a valuable asset to the Eskimos. And this guy can play every position. He can be a wideout if you have to. He can be a slot back. He'll run the ball back. He'll be a running back. He runs down hard on specialty teams. He does it all for you. Great credit to him. Very class individual.
3:13 to go, first half. Eskimos need a touchdown. Allen through traffic, almost picked off. Two Stampeders had a shot at that football.
He intended it for number 72.
Both Gerald Vaughn and Carl Anthony.
The football. 38, Gerald Vaughn.
There he is, coming back into the huddle a bit. Didn't show any signs whatsoever of being able to hobble around out there. Giz likes that, though. He plays that cat and mouse games with you a little bit. He'll play you that pull up and give you a limp, and the next thing you know, he'll try to get a step and be around you.
Second and 10. Allen under pressure. Down he goes. Will Johnson has the sack. We'll be back to McMahon after this. And the Calgary Stampeder all-time sack leader gets his 7th of the season as he nails Damon Allen just behind the line of scrimmage.
Very disciplined, does his job. He gets upfield, he contains Damon Allen, and then all of a sudden there's Eric Johnson coming in on a loop around, forces Damon to have to come up. Eric misses the sack. Will falls back inside in pursuit, is able to pick it up. Great team effort.
Third down.
Eric Crawford's the only man back for the Stamps.
In.
Now Brian Wiggins drops back
Crawford,
again.
the deep man. Wiggins also falls back. Rush was on Harper, but he angles it to the sidelines again. And there'll be no return, and they will mark it at the Calgary 19.
It will be marked at the Stampeder 19-yard line.
Just a 30-yard kick by Harper, but I don't think Ron Lancaster minds because there was no return.
Didn't mind at all. He knew that he was going to angle it out to the coffin corner kick. Harper brought into this game a 40-yard average, but that is still a lot of that thing has been kicking away from very threatening return men. The thing that he has been really excited about is that in the crucial times when it's been a necessity for Harper to kick the ball deep, he's been able to, and he's risen to the occasion.
Well, the defense for Edmonton has been so sharp in this first half, but they really have to prevent Calgary from getting any more first half points. There's Crawford, Down the far sidelines with a completion near a first down. That's the 11th completion of the game for Flutie in 22 attempts. And just with that catch, they go over 100 yards passing in the game.
Doug challenges you every time the snap takes place that you cannot play a soft zone in this case. Larry Ruck is inside. He got caught up inside a bit with the seam route. Doesn't get to the flat pattern, and that allows a breezy pitch and catch for Doug Flutie.
Came into the game second in all-purpose yards in the CFL into this week in the CFL. Returned to form in last year's Grey Cup. He broke his leg in 91, and the 92 season was not his best, recovering from that until the Grey Cup game, and Crawford's been very sharp since. There's a little screen to Keevan Jenkins, caught from behind and dragged down near another first down. Errol Martin, a backup linebacker, with the tackle on Jenkins.
The Eskimo defense.
Good effort that time by Doug Flutie. He knows he's going to set the screen up, come back, and Benny Goods is going to get right in his face. But right as he dumps the ball, he turns his shoulders and just kind of ducks away from Benny Goods. Allows the pass to be completed to Keevan. Got some blockers out in front of him. Picked up almost 9 yards.
Flutie just sneaks to the 40 for the first down. With 1:37 to go, first half, and a 12-1 Stampeder lead. I think John Hufnagel and the Calgary offense are going to have to make some adjustments at halftime, because it has been a very stingy Eskimo defense in this first half.
But you never mind going in at halftime ahead, obviously, and having to make those adjustments, and that's a normal course of the game. They expect that the Edmonton defense is going to come out there and do a few new wrinkles to make them adjust to it. Obviously, Doug Flutie has done a fairly good job so far. They'll make more adjustments at halftime and come out. And at the same case, that Edmonton defense is going to go in, see what the game plan of Doug Flutie was to how they were going to attack in the first half. They'll make some similar adjustments.
First down out of the shotgun. Then they screen it off again. Jenkins had trouble with it. Ball up for grabs. Eskimos have it. Jed Roberts comes down with the football. Melvin Hunter helps strip the ball loose from Keevan Jenkins.
Screen to one side, come back. It worked pretty good for 9 yards. Let's come back. Let's run the screen to the other side. Little sidearm throw. The ball's a little low, but Keevan just can't get his hands on it. Right at the last minute, Melvin Hunter comes in, unloads on Keevan, knocks the ball up, and it's a good pursuit by Jed Roberts is able to come over. These offensive, he'll be wearing glass-cutting gloves next week.
We got a couple of defensive linemen on the interception leader list now. 1:13 to go. Damon Allen keeping it. Matt Finley in pursuit and chases him out of bounds.
Matt Finley bearing down the sideline. It's game just 3.
Out of bounds. Allen trying to stretch this Calgary defense.
Little different play there as far as just one quick step, and then he comes out really on a naked boot all by himself. They're going to pull Dumoulin from the left side guard, pull him out all by himself. But that pursuit of the Calgary defense was going to have nothing to do with it. Marvin Pope was in hot chase.
2nd and 7. Receiver open, and Gizmo drops the ball. It's been a tough afternoon for Henry Williams.
Not much to say. Creates a good separation. Goes the route as far as the first down is concerned. Just doesn't look the ball in. Turns very gingerly and very lackadaisically to the sideline. Concentrate. Look that ball in.
You know, Gizmo's one of those players that when they get early success, they just start to steamroll. He had that early fumble, and he just doesn't seem to have gotten over it. Sean Fleming in to try a 47-yard field goal. And Fleming is good. He had a 51-yarder in the Labor Day Classic last year, and Fleming nails this one. So the Eskimos get 3, and it's now a 12-4 game.
Not very much so it was certainly within his range. Coach Lancaster showing great confidence as far as sending him out there to kick the ball. And that's good because for the Eskimos, as far as it puts them on the board and it gets a few more points for them. It's awfully hard to work that hard and then come away with nothing all the time.
A little bit of a boost for that defense because they keep stopping Flutie, and very little has been shown for their results so far, but it might give both sides of the football for Edmonton a boost.
Number 83, Derek Crawford.
Derek Crawford, the intended receiver on that pass from Flutie.
On the coverage for the Eskimos.
And we're down to 55 seconds left, first half.
Just a little inside slide there. Damon Lyons could be Ron Lancaster's expectation. The best corner that they have on this team.
Second out of 10 for the Stampeder offense after 35.
Damian Lyons out of UCLA matching up against Derek Crawford, 2nd and 10 Calgary. As a receiver open, David Sapunjas across the 45 to the 47. Check that, Brian Wiggins the catch, and Wiggins has a first down.
Number 14 brings Wiggins down. It's enough to move the chain out to the 48-yard line.
Hurry up offense by Doug Flutie, obviously trying to get as many plays as he possibly can before the end of the half.
Rush was on, Flutie gets it away, another completion at midfield.
Flutie's pass is complete over the midfield marker.
Pee-wee Smith has that catch. No prediction for Pee-wee this year. Last year he went on the limb, out on a limb before the game and guaranteed a win in the Labor Day Classic. And that prediction came back to haunt him.
I think he kind of passed the buck on to Alondra this week and let him do the talking.
Johnson did his share. Jenkins up the middle.
Stepping through.
And a first down for Keyvan Jenkins. They pounded it down to the Eskimo 49 with a half minute to go. Willie Pless tackling Jenkins, who no doubt wants to atone for bobbling that screen pass that led to the turnover. Here's the rush. Wilson doesn't get to him, and a completion to Wiggins. Brian Wiggins with the catch in front of Damian Lyons. And the Stampeders are threatening with 23 seconds left.
Eskimos had the halfback blitz on with Donnie Wilson. He came in scot-free, but he came in very gingerly. He was slow getting across the field. Had he came in rushing across there, he had a chance to get up in Doug Flutie's face. He allowed Doug to stand there, and then he made a good pass with a good reception.
Flag goes down as Flutie rolls left, throws against the grain, complete to Wiggins, to the 10, to the 7-yard line, but there's a marker down.
Could be an illegal procedure on this call.
It's the Eskimos. The gain will stand.
Offside, Edmonton number 40, decline.
Benny Goods jumped early. And Wiggins has been a key man, back-to-back catches. The biggest, a 26-yarder. Clock running. Stampeders have to hurry. Into the end zone. Incomplete. 1 second to go. They'll have time for the field goal.
Brian Wiggins began a strong defensive play by Doug Perry, number 14. Just got his hand in there at time.
Wiggins comes down. He's on the wide side of the field. He's the second receiver. Just breaks inside on just a quick post pattern. Ball hits him right in the chest. I don't think he could throw it any better. Doug Parrish was hanging on him behind, but I don't think he had really an effect on that. Had he reached out, maybe caught the ball out in front of him with his hands, he may have had a better chance.
Mark McLaughlin does get 3 on the final play of the first half. Dominated by the defenses, and the Stamps go to the dressing room up 15-4. Mark?
The Eskimos dodge a bullet when we come back. The future of Canadians in the CFL and an update on the Argos and Ticats. That's on Live at the Half next.
Chris Cuthbert, Dan Kepley, and Mark Lee, along with the CFL on CBC crew at McMahon Stadium, are ready for the second half of football. 15-4, Stampeders lead as they kick it to Gizmo Williams and the Eskimos. Gizmo with the tender shoestring, but turns it up to the 40-yard line. Flag is down on the opening kickoff of the second half.
Mark McLaughlin. Williams with a return of 23 yards, but there is a penalty marker down.
And it's going against the Eskimos. Ken Lazarick, the official, sorting things out.
Legal block. Edmonton number 38, 10-yard penalty. First down, Edmonton.
Errol Martin with the illegal block. And that means Damon Allen will have to start deep.
Your lucky number
And not very much given up by the Calgary defense in that first half. Somehow the Eskimos, who are noted as a conservative offense, are going to have to open it up somehow against this Calgary D.
It's the point. If it doesn't work with Damon, then all of a sudden he's got Ricky Foggy and he's got Tom Mickey on the sideline that he can bring in there out of the bullpen, but hopefully try to generate some kind of excitement, some kind of enthusiasm, and obviously points.
Brian Walling, first play, met by Matt Finley. And Marvin Pope in the middle came up to close down Brian Walling.
Marvin Pope, number 91, finished off the tackle.
Esquerdo and Dunn with 2 catches each, but really very limited success in the first half.
And it's reflected directly right with the scoreboard.
Kind of a conservative play to open the second half.
I'd have to question the play that you come up. Sometimes I don't think this ball club may be good enough to just tee it up and come right at the Calgary defense.
Allen was nailed as he got rid of the football. And it is an incompletion. Big Harold Hasselback greeting Allen here early, second half.
You see the one pump right before. That's the credit to the secondary. They're able to get good coverage that time, forced him to pull it down just for 1 second, and then Harold has nothing to do with it, gets right up in his face.
So the Stampeders should start the second half with great field position as Harper drops back to punt, and just the one deep man for Calgary, Derek Crawford. Harper gets it away, and it's a beauty. Driving Crawford all the way back to his 30. Trying to high step it over J.P. Esquerdo, and he was tripped up
all the way back to his own
at the 45-yard line.
A return of 6.
49-yard punt by Harper and a 10-yard return. There are the numbers for Flutie in that first half. A lot of those numbers in the final drive.
Certainly are. And when we talked about earlier, 74 yards in the first half, like I said, that's pretty good for a lot of quarterbacks. But this guy has set some tremendous precedent. It's kind of like Gretzky going out there and only scoring 1 punt a game going, what's wrong with him?
Yes, he's averaged 399 passing yards and 3 touchdowns a game this year. He can roll up 200 in 1 quarter. Here comes the rush of Benny Goods. Gets it away, complete. There's Crawford. And he's grabbed out of bounds by Damian Lyons. Let's see who Flutie's favorite targets have been. Wiggins on that final drive. Will Moore. They're the roommates out of Texas Southern with 8 catches between them. And they've done a good job on Dave Sapunjas so far.
Well, the thing is about that is that if Sponge is going to be covered, those other guys really rise up to the occasion. And Doug Flutie, he mixes it up. He doesn't have one guy he's going to throw to, so you don't know who to double cover. He throws it to everybody.
From the 48 out of the shotgun, 2nd and 4, Flutie. Pressure on, down he goes! Benny Goods gets to Flutie for the first sack of the game for Edmonton. Number 9 on the year for Big Benny Goods.
Well, they've been around sniffing at him all day long, then they finally get a hand on him.
Eskimos lead the league in sacks, and that's number 36 on the season.
Holding, he's looking. He's trying to find something downfield. Good coverage in the secondary, and that allows Goods to get free of his block. Get a hand on Doug Flutie. You don't get to touch him very often.
That's just the 10th time this year Flutie's been sacked. Only Winnipeg has done a better job of protecting their quarterback. That big offensive line of the Bombers in front of Matt Dunnigan. Here's Gizmo. Had a punt return for a touchdown against Calgary in Labor Day back in 1990.
Nowhere to go. A return of 3 yards.
A full house on hand for the annual Labor Day Classic, and here are the numbers through 30 minutes. And 3 Eskimo turnovers. Really, Calgary did not capitalize as much as they could have, and perhaps that's the biggest reason the Eskimos are still in this football game.
Turnovers is one thing, but Eskimos only having 55 yards passing in that first half, it really put them in the hole.
Down by 11, and with the football at their own 39. Allen sets up under the gun again. Takes off and up to the 45. He has a pickup of 6. Marvin Pope, the middle linebacker, with the tackle. And Ron Lancaster talking about Pope and Johnson last night. A lot of respect for the ground they can cover up the middle.
You look at Marvin Pope. He is 6'1", about 255, and he's got wheels. He gets from A to B as quick as anybody out there. And then when he does get there, he announces his presence with some authority.
18th start in the middle for Pope. Only 3 teams have had 100-yard rushing days against Calgary since he joined the Stamps. In the flat, Gizmo Williams almost got away from Douglas Kraft. Good shoestring tackle by the rookie cornerback. Otherwise, Gizmo's gone.
Giz does a good job. He sets out there. It's a wide out here. Just a hitch, and then he throws. Then he makes that good quick move. And here's where Kraft shows a little bit of that rookie. He wants to come up there and really lay Giz out. You got to come up there, and if he breaks down, make that tackle, because he's the last line of defense. You miss that, it's 6 going the other way. Kraft did a good job of getting a hand on him, though.
Allen in the flat, Souls met immediately, and there's Matt Finley. Western All-Star and a great Canadian linebacker, Finley with the play.
Matt Finley, number 37.
Steady, just absolutely steady is the first word that comes to mind when you want to talk about Finley. In the sense, he's never going to hurt you. He does exactly what he's supposed to do out there, knows the defenses extremely well, takes charge in the huddle, and then gets the job done.
Yeah, he's the quarterback, 8th-year man, Toronto native, out of Eastern Michigan. Loss of a yard, 2nd and 11. Allen on the quarterback draw, shovels it ahead. Brian Walling with the football. Unorthodox, it picked up some yards, but they will be shy of the first down.
Allen lobs it off to number 34, Brian Walling.
Eskimos are really struggling right now. A lot of pressure coming on them up front. Damon's not having any success trying to scramble the ball. The good speed of the Calgary defense and the pursuit. Then he just tries to shovel the pass ahead, trying to make anything happen whatsoever. But Calgary is rejecting that, not having anything to do with it.
5 minutes gone. 3rd quarter. And it's been a saw-off between the punters, as you saw from those stats. Pee-wee Smith is the deep man as Harper again angles it out of bounds. There won't be a return. And Calgary must start deep. They're going to place it at the 13 as we join Mark Lee.
Well, Chris, they say Labor Day marks the official start of the real football season in this country as autumn flies in the air, and the figures are in here. 38,205, a virtual sellout at McMahon. That's 2 nights in a row, 2 days in a row we've had sellouts in the CFL, and football fever is riding high.
Great to see, and of course, the Eskimos have their big student night in the rematch next Friday, and they're looking for a crowd in around 50,000, and the Blue Bombers would love to match that crowd of over 30,000 at Taylor Field for the rematch of the Bombers and Riders next Sunday at Winnipeg Stadium. Key Van Jenkins on the limp a bit after that last carry.
See, after what you just said, not only do the teams try to outdo themselves, the cities try to outdo, they have bets in between, and now the fans are going to try to outdo it, and it's just great for the league. This is a wonderful, exciting sport.
Well, this is an event. Labor Day's become an event, and it'd be nice to see more of the CFL games and matchups through the year be events like this. Flutie has a completion. Derek Crawford, tough man to bring down, and Crawford's out of bounds at the Eskimo bench near midfield. Dan Murphy made the saving defensive play. It's a 35-yard pickup for Derek Crawford.
Eskimos are really trying to mix up that defense. They have really press coming from the outside, but Doug Flutie's just calm, cool, collected. Throws the ball, releases it before Derek Crawford even makes his cut. He knows where he's going to end up. Derek does a great job of making the turn, comes around, gets the ball, then gets it upfield for additional yardage.
Evan Jenkins is down. We'll check on his status when we return. To the Stampeder bench. Well, the Stampeders a vastly improved football team, but on Labor Day, the Eskimos had the edge over the years, and even in recent years. 4 wins in the last 5 meetings.
Heading to the sideline. After the 35,
you could feel last year when we came in that with Doug Flutie, the Stamp fans were sure they were going to get their Labor Day win, and
everyone in the stadium was convinced except for those 38 guys on the other side of the field.
There is a mystique about Edmonton coming here for Labor Day, but there's also become a mystique about Calgary winning late in Western Finals the past 2 years. Flutie throwing, and Wiggins has it go off his hands.
Lonzo Johnson said it very succinctly in a sense. He said, if you think they're coming down the road and going to knock us off, think again.
Here's a guy that's not going to be out psyched today. He is ready to study for his doctorate in clinical psychology. An amazing family. Steve Wiggins, his brother, former Saskatchewan Rough Rider, an engineer for NASA. His dad, an Air Force commander. But he should have made that catch.
Second down and 10.
Well, there's something about the aerodynamics of that ball coming at him that maybe there was a slight miscalculation that he did. Obviously, he'll go back to the sideline, get the slide ruled out, and he'll have that all taken care of by the next pass.
That was almost a drop, but Andy McVeigh hung on. He'll be stopped short of the first down.
Andy McVeigh.
Larry Ruck in on the tackle.
13, as well as number 47.
One of the real unsung heroes this year as far as Andy McVeigh getting out there. You don't hear much about him as far as carrying the ball. They'll dump a screen pass to him, but he's very, very instrumental in the blocking scheme up there of giving Doug Flutie the time and the protection he needs to complete for the yardage that he's had this year.
So the defensive struggle continues. Midway through the third quarter. Gizmo Williams are back.
Number 39, Willie Pless, the injured ball player.
When both the offensive teams are struggling, you take it on yourself as a defensive team and a player to go out there and try to turn this ball back over to your quarterback as many times as possible, because sooner or later the percentages are something's going to click.
Doug Davies with the snap. Back to Martino, who was hit. No flag. There's a flag for no yards as Gizmo is buried at the 22-yard line. We'll be back to McMahon after this. 1.5 minutes to go, third quarter, in a defensive Labor Day struggle between the Eskimos and Stampeders. The only touchdown, Doug Flutie, his 27th TD pass of the year to Will Moore. A 47-yard field goal by Sean Fleming, the big play for the Eskimos so far, and it is 15-4 here midway through the third quarter. And the Eskimo offense hasn't solved the Calgary D yet. Here's Allen airing it out, and Eddie Brown can't catch up with it. Overthrown.
Pumps and then goes deep to number 4, Eddie Brown, but couldn't find him. Incomplete.
Good pass cut route that time as far as Eddie Brown ran from his inside slot. He ran an out and up really deep. And on the outside, you had Morris running a quick post. Calgary bit on the post a bit, and that left Eddie Brown all by himself down the sideline. Damon Allen wasn't able to put the ball in the money.
Well, the Eskimos, number 8 in a 9-team league in passing, and they've struggled again today. And, of course, without the reliable wide receiver, Jim Sandusky. There's Gizmo, and he has a catch forced into the bench by Douglas Kraft. But it's a first down for Gizmo Williams.
Gain is 12 for an Eskimo first down.
12-yard pickup for the Giz.
Williams out of bounds at the Eskimo.
Chris, I think you really categorized it properly earlier. When Giz has success early, he just gets like a snowball going downhill. He just builds up more momentum and more momentum. And sooner or later, it's going to happen. He'll come back. He's dropped a couple of passes. But in a big plateau, that second and long situation, he really likes the ball to get in his hands.
38 catches on the year for Gizmo. They try the near side, and Eddie Brown can't bring it down.
Again, attended for number 4, Eddie Brown. Incomplete. Second down 10.
There's the offensive coordinator, Adam Reed. Rita, the former head coach of the Toronto Argonauts, who had an explosive offense in Toronto for a couple of years. Allen getting used to the new system that Rita has put in here. Here comes the heat. Allen gets it away. Michael Soles, a little extra effort, but he's game tackled before he can get first down yardage. He's going to come up about 1.5 yards, 2 yards shy.
You guys are pretty good from here. That's exactly what I was going to call it.
Michael Soles worked pretty well.
Doing a good job. Again, somebody that you don't hear about very much in these days, but Michael Soles is a guy to go to in a need situation. Real strong fellow, extra effort, gutsy performer.
Ron Lancaster's going for it here. Ball right at midfield. 3rd and 2.
3rd down.
Eddie Brown, the lone receiver, out. Gibbs Soles. He's not going to get there. Tough to run against Marvin Pope and company.
Great surge off that defensive line, and then Pope, all he has to do is just read the back, follow Damon Allen as he counters out, gives the ball to Michael Soles, and then he comes around, both up, boom. Good shot there, good pursuit. They'll come up about 1/2 foot short.
It's a turnover on downs for the Stampede. They ran all over Calgary last year on Labor Day, 226 yards, but it's been tough sledding, and a big difference this year, no Blake Marshall.
Stampeders 1st and 10 at the 54.
So Calgary takes over at midfield. Flutie airing it out. Derek Crawford incomplete.
Flutie looking deep for number 83, Derek Crawford, just out of his reach. 2nd down.
You like to see that after any kind of turnover, the other team go right after it.
They get right to the jugular and go right for the throat. They're going to get it. Try to catch you in that zone, as Derek Crawford was. Flutie had him exactly. Then Rogers Jr. was a little slow getting over from the halfback spot to the deep 3rd of the zone. And Doug almost was able to hit it right in the midstream in between the short guy and the deep guy on the zone.
Here comes the heat. Pass knocked down. Don Wilson got a hand on it.
Murray's pass was intended for Pee Wee Smith. Number 20, Don Wilson, cut in front.
And it will be 3rd down.
So it's 3rd and 10 Calgary.
Pee Wee Smith, the intended receiver.
Pee Wee's just coming on a curl route inside. Don Wilson, being a heads-up veteran that he is, able to see where the ball's going. He's watching Doug Flutie, watching the Arden movement, lets his guy go to the inside, then he falls out and he's able to get a hand on that ball and knock it away.
Got to hand it to this Eskimo defense. They've bottled up Doug Flutie this afternoon. 6 of the 9 games they've played this year, they've allowed 15 points or less. Martino had a thought about taking off with that. He has the green light when he sees fit.
At quarterback right now, they're not completing any passes. They're just not getting anything going at all.
Should they pull Damon Allen?
They should probably give him some more chance. Maybe let him run the ball a little bit. And if the receivers would catch the ball, he wouldn't be having as many problems as he's having right now.
Good analysis, if I ever heard it. All right, Dan and Chris, back up to you.
I tell you, he's put the pressure on us.
That guy would look pretty good in the blue jacket.
Here's Allen rolling out, looking deep, airing it out. Eddie Brown going deep, and he's tripped up, flag down. Oh, he got his feet crossed up with Greg Knox. Down went Eddie Brown, and down went the marker.
He lost his footing, and really it comes down to incidental contact at this point. They're going for the home run. They haven't had any chance whatsoever.
Calgary number 8, deliberate, 1st down at point of foul.
Boy, it really hurts when they say it was a deliberate, because it means the ball is spotted at the Calgary 30-yard line. That's the biggest play of the game for the Eskimos.
These are the kind of plays that Coach Bono has been really upset about. They would play really good for about 55 minutes, and then there would be just some parts where they would go a little numb and allow a big play to happen.
Allen looking for Escuerdo, incomplete. Ken Watson was covering, but Escuerdo was open. I'm not sure, though, Wally wasn't upset, I don't think, with Greg Knox as much as with the call in that case.
I think it's the call itself. It's not Greg Knox's fault. Greg was turned around. He was looking back for the ball. He wanted to make a play on it. The feet just get tangled up like that. That's football. That's going to happen.
3:40 to go. Third quarter. Eskimos down by 11 points. Same call, and they get the completion to Casey Dunn and a first down. The former BC Lion with the catch.
Maybe the first time that the young corner, Douglas Kraft, made an error in the defensive coverage. He was running deep down the sideline with Giz, and that allowed Casey Dunn to come out from his inside slot play, pick up the big first down. Ken Watson was covering the deep zone over top. He actually had two Calgary defenders in the same area.
First time inside the 25 for the Eskimos this afternoon. Allen in the flat, incomplete. And great coverage there by Carl Anthony. The intended receiver, Gary Morris.
Damon Allen would like to have that back. Had that pass been thrown where it was catchable, it was 6 going the other way. Carl Anthony just made a great break on the ball up underneath the pass, and he had the hand on the back of the jersey. An excellent play defensively.
From the Calgary 18, it's 2nd and 10.
Here comes the heat.
He gets it away, and it's picked off. Greg Prayers, the extra deep back, number 6, the 6th deep back, has slipped out the Eskimo drive.
Damon saw it coming. The heat was coming from the Calgary defenders. And all he did was just lob it up into the end zone. Saw Eddie Brown coming to the post very quickly. But Pierce isn't going to have anything to do with it. Slides over from his other safety position. Makes the big interception. Snuffs out the drive.
His first CFL interception. The Mississauga native will remember it on Labor Day. Two and a half minutes to go. Eskimos thought that Calgary would try to run on them this afternoon. It really hasn't been well established by the Stampeders.
They've only ran enough to actually make Edmonton have to respect it somewhat, so they just can't tee off on Doug Flutie on every play. And as Doug Flutie stretches that defense out across the whole length of the field, the width of the field, in a sense that as soon as you do happen to break an opening, you're running right to the safety, so running plays usually constitute big gains.
Here's a deep pass for Pee Wee Smith, incomplete.
Flutie's pass intended for Brady 6.
And it'll be 3rd down.
Incompletion. 3rd down.
So the Eskimos, that interception which cost them at least 3 points on the board, should get the football back in good field position again as Brown and Gizmo drop deep. Boy, the defense of Edmonton has given the offense every opportunity to get on track.
They kick it right to Giz again. They're going to challenge him.
Straight up the middle, and Gizmo's inside the 35. Greg Prayers with the tackle, but the Eskimos are threatening.
18.
Back at McMahon is Damon Allen. One hops the pass to the intended receiver, Casey Dunn, in the left flat.
Allen's pass is a one-hopper to number 72,
Check
Casey
that.
Dunn.
Ricky Foggy is in. Ricky Foggy into the game.
Number 3, Douglas
For the first
Kraft
time
on the
replacing
coverage.
Damon Allen.
2nd and 10.
So the interception gets the hook for Allen.
Well, twofold. One is that he's not having very good success so far in the game moving the offense. The other thing is that after a big interception like that, Coach Lancaster wants to take him off to the side, let him think about it a little bit, and not be so concerned about it when he's on the field running the offense.
No better success for Foggy, though. The heat was on.
It was intended for
And an incomplete pass, so Ron Lancaster has to send out Sean Fleming.
There's Will Johnson coming in absolutely untouched, getting right up in Foggy's face. So the minute he comes out from under the center, his head turns and his shoulder pivots back to the right. He's going to see Will Johnson coming right at him. So his first impulse, I've got to rush it. I've got to get this ball off, or else this big man's going to hit me right in the face.
Setting up for a 40-yard field goal.
This is a 40-yard attempt by Fleming. Harper, the holder, who has thrown out of this formation this year, but Fleming kicks this one, and it's good. So they're back within a touchdown and a two-point convert. It's 15-7 here at McMahon Stadium with 25 seconds left, third quarter. There's a look at Blake Marshall, the sunglasses, along the sidelines, and oh, how desperately he'd like to be in today, but the neck problems persist.
When we came through the hotel lobby there last night, Chris, this is about 11:30 or 12 after you and I got finished talking to Lancaster. He's sitting down there just all by himself, and went over to talk to him, and I mean, he's one of these guys that he just thrives. He loves the game of football. He would absolutely do anything to be out there today.
Calgary football at their own 35. Flutie, quick release, and a drop by Crawford.
Fluty's pass was intended for number 83, Derek Crawford. He couldn't hang on to it. Number 46.
Flutie had to rush it slightly because Melvin Hunter was able to come scot-free and get up into Doug's face very quickly. Threw the ball just a little bit before he wanted to, I'm sure.
This will be the final play
Second
of
down
the third
and 10
quarter.
at the 35.
Second and 10. Flutie has a man open. Wilmore has the catch. Down to the 54 of Edmonton. So they'll switch ends, and Calgary will stay on offense when we return to sold out McMahon Stadium.
A busy weekend for the Lancaster family in football. Ron, of course, embroiled in the middle of another Labor Day Classic here at McMahon on Saturday in Winnipeg. Son Bobby quarterbacking the Golden Bears, outdueling his brother Ron Jr., coach of the Bisons. The final score there, 40-37. Chris?
Here's Doug Flutie with the sidearm pass, and it's off the hands of Brian Wiggins, who's had some big catches in this game, 4, but I think that's 3 drops now for
second down.
The rookie receiver. As we check the numbers through 45 minutes.
Yards passing has still got to be the big thing, and the other thing, take a good look. 5 turnovers for the Edmonton Eskimos.
Net yards for Edmonton, 124. They had 226 on the ground last year. Here's Flutie going back to Wiggins. He's got it. Don Wilson saves the touchdown, and Wiggins atones for those drops with a big catch. 36 yards from Flutie to the rookie Wiggins.
Nothing fancy about that. Wiggins just using his speed. Halfback blitz by the Edmonton Eskimos coming up into his face. He's running a straight seam route. Donnie Wilson is playing in a safety position, was late getting over to it. Wiggins made the big catch.
Flutie threads the needle. Here's a pass in the end zone. Touchdown, Will Moore. Moore has his second touchdown of the game, and Flutie has 28 TD passes on the season.
Flutie has been notorious for either getting chances or making chances, and he's just done both of them today. And there's a case, right, of making a chance happen, and when he does, he puts it in for 7 points.
The extra point from Mark McLaughlin is good.
There is a flag down.
Flag down on that convert.
59, 5-yard penalty. Convert over again.
Procedure penalty means they'll have to do the convert again.
Taking a good look at Albie there. There's some pretty impressive horses down the road. It's Bruce Meadows.
Our crew arriving for the event next weekend. Over 38,000 here, and they'll have that kind of crowd next week. Convert is good on the second attempt. 22-7. Stampeders with the lead.
Stampeders 22, the Eskimos 7.
All day long to throw the ball. Will Moore makes an excellent play as far as breaking it off and then coming back to the ball ever so slightly. Clutie's able to throw the ball on the rope and get it in right before Rogers can close on it and make any kind of defensive play.
Ladies and gentlemen, today is Lucky 50-50 winning tip.
Less than 2 minutes.
1-0-3-8-8 has been played by Heather Rourke.
For the Stampeders to increase their lead to 15. And Will Moore has 6 catches, 87 yards, and a pair of touchdowns. Spent all of last year on the practice roster playing behind that veteran receiving corps. There's Keevan Jenkins. He's on the limp and headed for the Calgary dressing room. And that will be a major source of concern in Calgary. He's a valuable member, unheralded, but a key part of this Calgary offense.
Number 5 of the deep end for Edmonton for the kickoff.
McLaughlin kicks it off. Gizmo from his 9. And they need some Gizmo magic, but a flag goes down. Up to the 35-yard line.
Gizmo Williams on the return, 35 yards, but there's a flag in the shadow of the
Douglas Kraft with the tackle, but let's find out what Ken Lazarick has.
Legal block, Edmonton number 38, 10-yard penalty. Be a first down, Edmonton.
Errol Martin.
That's the second call on Errol Martin in specialty teams this year. I mean, this game, the first thing that you got to do when games are tough like this, the other team, don't beat yourself. Don't take stupid penalties out there sometimes and get yourself even further in the hole.
Especially the way Ron Lancaster's offense has sputtered, and here they are back in a hole again at their own 10-yard line. Ricky Foggy in relief of Damon Allen here in the fourth quarter. Play action, looking for Gary Morris, and a completion up to the 25, a first down Edmonton.
Pass is caught by number 5, Gary Morris. He's taken down by number 3, Douglas Kraft.
Play action, fakes the handoff inside just on the
Eskimos and a first down.
draw play, buys a little time. Very slow developing play, but allows that receiver to get downfield because it's a deep out pattern. Ricky Foggy showing some good velocity on the ball, good strong arm and getting it there.
Flag down, they didn't get the play off. Or was it early movement?
Called illegal procedure against Edmonton. Somebody's trying to make a quick move.
Legal procedure, Edmonton number 60, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Big Chris Morris, the right tackle.
Got him up a little bit in his stance, wants to take that one quick drop step. I guess you need a little bit of an advantage when you're lining up against Will Moore with all that speed that he has.
At 6'5", 280, you're noticed when you move.
A little bit. The earth move.
First and 15. Knocked down. Incomplete.
Ricky Foggy's pass is knocked down by number 99, Mark Pierce.
Mark Pierce with the knockdown, and he is the 5th defensive lineman for the Stampeders. First time we've seen Mark, a native of Kings Lynn, England, in the game.
A blacksmith by trade, I think, as he goes back over.
Yeah, he works with Albie during the week. We've got a Stampeder shaken up on the play. As we join Mark Lee.
Today's lucky section sponsor, Super Direct Mark.
Well, this is the scene at Ivor Wynne Stadium in Hamilton, where they're getting awfully close, about 40 minutes away before kickoff to part 2 of our Labor Day doubleheader. The Argos and the Tiger Cats, quite a tradition. McPherson will get the start, replacing Bob Torrance, having a tough first 6 games of the season. They're hoping he can rekindle the passing completion stats that he had last year. That's at 6 Eastern. The Argos and Tiger Cats coming right up after this one. Chris?
Don Whitman, James Curry, Scott Oak getting set for that one. Will Johnson helped to the sidelines and kept. There was a lot of jawing going on between the Stamps and the Eskimos huddle while they were attending to Johnson. So perhaps temper's getting a little short. Foggy over the middle and almost picked off through the hands of Gary Morris. It'll be 3rd down, Edmonton.
Foggy had good protection, had enough time to throw the ball. Morris came and just ran a real deep in route from his wide out position. He's wide open. The ball just sails on Ricky Foggy. Obviously, he hasn't been on the sideline throwing any of those passes. He just loosened up a little bit before he came in.
Just has not been able to get on track for Edmonton in this game. They had just 127 yards against Winnipeg in a 53-11 loss earlier this year. And they're yet to go over 200 this afternoon. Derek Crawford down at the 47-yard line. Doug Flutie and company coming back on offense. We mentioned Blake Marshall not in the lineup for Edmonton. 2 All-Canadians out of the Calgary lineup. And in our broadcast booth for this game, Alan Pitts with the shade says he could be back next month. Junior Thurman, unfortunately, the torn Achilles heel. And we won't see Junior back until 1994. 2 big losses, though, for the Stampeders.
But when you look out there, both of those sides of the ball have really risen to the occasion. They don't look like they're missing too many steps. And when those guys get back in the lineup, and particularly Alan Pitts, look out.
Yeah, Wally Buono has done a great job of having reserves ready when needed. There's Andy McVeigh with the carry, stopped right up, but there is a flag down.
Led by Larry
Ruck. Call coming up
and there is a penalty marker down.
The Stampeders. Talked about university football starting up again. Andy McVeigh out of the University of Toronto.
Holding, Calgary number 69, decline. 2nd down.
Red Deer native Todd Storm, a former Eskimo, called, but it's great to see the University of Toronto program back in operation.
Toss of just over a yard. 2nd down and 11.
Larry Rickman. Looks like his team is zeroed in on a 10th straight victory to start this year. Flutie has a completion, and Pee Wee Smith gets away. Doug Parrish makes the saving tackle. It's a 26-yard pickup, Flutie to Smith. And you get the feeling the Stampeders are looking to put this one away.
Look again, plenty of time, no Eskimos around him whatsoever. He throws that wide out with some authority. Doug Parrish comes over, misses the first tackle, and then is able to come back with some presence of mind. Almost strips the ball away from Pee Wee. Pee Wee comes up with a big snag.
Loading, complete, Sapunjas. Waits for a block, down at the 25-yard line. Flag late. Sapunjas had a first down, way behind the play. Andy McVeigh was jostling with Glenn Rogers Jr.
There is a marker down as well.
And it's going against the Eskimo defensive back.
Necessary roughness. Edmonton number 26, half the distance to the goal line. 1st down, Calgary.
I said it's tough enough as it is to beat this team at your best, but when you start taking penalties like that and losing your discipline, it makes it a lot easier. Doug Flutie had plenty of time again to throw that ball. Look at the numbers there on that quarterback. As far as yards.
It's been a struggle for Doug at times today, but here he is again on pace for 400 yards. His season average, 399. Lots of time. Into the
just a little difference in the style and the philosophy of Doug Flutie. Waiting back in the pocket a little bit more. Not taking off on the scramble like he had normally done quite a bit before, picking up the first down on his own. Now he sits back with great confidence in there in his offensive line, great confidence in his receivers to keep working, to find an open area. He's there. He's looking downfield. He's downfield. He's buying time. He senses the pressure coming from the defense, but then he still wants to throw it into Sapunjas.
And Dave Sapunjas has now tied for the CFL lead with his 10th touchdown pass of the year.
You know, when I decided to go out on my own, I admit I was scared. The only ones jumping to see me were friends and relatives, and they all wanted...
The top of the show now has 15 touchdowns in his last 17 games.
All day long to get there. All he's got to do, as I said earlier, just keep working and run your pattern, and Doug will eventually get the ball to you. Sapunjas is now he's become a goal scorer and a touchdown scorer. Last year it took him almost 15 games before he got his first touchdown.
He's been on a roll ever since, and it's 29-7 Calgary. Here's Gizmo. Ken Watson with the tackle and a flag down.
Gizmo Williams again taken down early by the coverage team. There is a flag down, however.
And it's been a familiar story this afternoon.
Holding, Edmonton number 43, 10-yard penalty, first down Edmonton.
Boy, a lot of penalties on special teams against Ron Lancaster's club today. Jed Roberts.
Just a little bit of a do-si-do out there. Grabs the shoulder of Greg Knox, shoulder pads, and just wheels him around. It's Calgary. You're supposed to two-step dance like that.
15-yard line, first and 10.
9:10 to go. Foggy over the middle. Brian Walling. That was a play that had success against Sacramento on Thursday night.
Why haven't we seen it earlier? That's the kind of thing that Damon Allen should have been doing. That heat was going to be there. The Hots knew was going to be the one route that had to be completed today. Coach Lancaster was very concerned about that. We hadn't seen any of it being thrown through the course of this game. Calgary's done a tremendous job of defending it.
First down, Eskimos. Ken Watson pulls him down.
Pass is up by number 72.
Number 2 all-time on the NCAA pass-catching list behind a fellow named Jerry Rice. Casey Dunn.
Lost the time, and Casey comes from the outside. Just a slight little curl pattern. Does an excellent job of concentrating on the ball, looking it in. Throws it right on the outstretched hands.
Ricky Foggy to Eddie Brown.
20-yard line. Safety Greg Knox.
Excellent pitch and catch. Ricky Foggy shows some real confidence standing in the pocket. Starts to make a move to break up, and then he spots Eddie Brown coming from the offside on the deep end. Hits him dead in stride, and then Eddie Brown shows that great speed that he has.
He's found his way around the end zone this year. Foggy may look for him here to Brown. Overthrown.
Before he was in the middle of 3 Stampeders. Doug Kraft, number 3. Greg Knox, number 8.
Don't go to the well too often. You start trying to force that throw deep into that coverage. There's some of the TD receptions that Eddie Brown has. He and Dave Sapunjas have put on a real good show today.
Eddie's had 2 3-touchdown games this season. 3 against Saskatchewan, 3 against his old team, the Toronto Argonauts.
We guaranteed that 3 against Toronto were more gratifying to him.
Foggy under pressure. And a one-hopper to Gary Morris. Foggy was lucky just to get that one away.
Number 5, Gary Morris. Pass is short, incomplete.
He doesn't even see it coming from the back. He's looking to the front side, but Harold Hasselback gets right up in his face. 6'5", 260 out of Washington. Also coming in there with Greg Fears.
And Ron Lancaster leaves the offense on the field. 3rd and 10. Of course, Adam Rita worked closely with Ricky Foggy in Toronto. 3rd down. Into the end zone. Casey down. Incomplete. Second time they've turned it over on downs. Kept the Eskimos were number 1 going into the game in turnovers or lack of them this year, but they've committed 6 in the game, and they've also turned the ball over on downs here.
Well, to come in and play a Grey Cup champion team that's undefeated, you got to play your best game. You can't make mistakes. 6 turnovers, whether it's by interceptions or on downs. Here it's 2nd and long. My call, for whatever it's worth, says you got to get the first down. You got to keep the possession drive going. Calgary is not going to give you, they're going to play it deep enough that they're not going to give you that touchdown like that. They're going to force you to throw the ball shorter.
Looks for Crawford in the flat, incomplete. They'll go at it again next Friday in Edmonton. It's the big student night in Edmonton, expecting a crowd of around 50,000. That has been a typical Flutie afternoon. Again, his average on the year, 399 yards and 3 touchdown passes, so he's virtually dead on.
When it just doesn't even sound right when you rattle off those numbers and say that's his average.
Center screen, and Leroy Blue tackled Andy McVeigh before the ball got there, and McVeigh's got a beat. Flutie's upset.
I think he's got a pretty good argument there, too. Leroy Blue comes in, reads the screen. One of the things that McVeigh's going to do, he's going to step up, make a little bump on him, allow that defender to continue his rush, and then he's going to slide off and take the screen. Leroy's not going to have anything to do with that. Just to the left of your screen, as McVeigh slides off, Leroy's already got him by the jersey, tackling him while the ball's up in the air, so I think there's real grounds for some complaint there.
Instead, it's 3rd down and Tony Martino. Kicking to Gizmo and Eddie Brown. Williams at his 48. Great coverage. Now the reminder that immediately following this game, we head to Ivor Wynne Stadium in Hamilton, the Ticats and the Argos in their traditional Labor Day clash. Don Whitman, James Curry, Scott Oak, and the CFL on CBC crew are standing by for that one at Ivor Wynne. Here, 5:20 to go, and the clock running.
Absolute glorious day. And to their credit, that's just Calgary special teams are just doing a tremendous job.
Ricky Foggy's pass is incomplete. It's behind.
Yeah, can we order this game for Grey Cup in November? Maybe a Chinook?
Hey, as I said, the first time I ever saw McMahon Stadium was in 1975 at the Grey Cup. We play in Montreal. I came here and I'd only been in town for about a month. I had 4 regular season games, 1 playoff game, and then we're going to the Grey Cup. I don't know what a Grey Cup is. All I know is it's a big event. It's another football game, and it was cold that day, about 35 below zero.
Foggy under the gun. Hasselback giving chase. He gets rid of it downfield. Jay Christensen stretched out for it, and they give him the catch. Well, it doesn't hurt when you're 6'4" like Jay Christensen.
Number 87, Jay Christensen, keeping the players in bounds.
Excellent job. Foggy, as far as buying time, it just lofts it up. It's a prayer, and Christensen does an excellent job of catching the ball, but I think the toes are on the whitening. I think it.
Jay had a touchdown catch in last year's Labor Day game.
First and 10, Edmonton at the
His first as an Eskimo. Foggy near side. Morris has a catch. Kraft right on him. They'll give him the 23-yard line and a flag down on the opposite side of the field.
Brought down by Douglas Kraft, number 3, and a flag is down.
pass interference call. We're not exactly sure on who yet.
Illegal contact and an eligible receiver. 38 Calgary. 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Gerald Vaughn called. Well, Wally Buono talked about the importance of proving again to the home fans that they are indeed capable of beating the Eskimos. And now for another week, he'll be hounded with the question, can you go unbeaten for the year? First down, Foggy with time, looks to the end zone, almost picked off. Kraft got his hands on it, couldn't bring it in.
For Eddie Brown, number 4, but Douglas Kraft tipped it.
Eddie Brown's a receiver, but there's 4 Calgary guys around there, and they're in the position where I think Ricky Foggy's standing back there, and he's really, if it doesn't fit, he's trying to force it in there. And he's very, very fortunate they didn't come around with another interception there.
Kraft's had a strong game. His first start in the CFL. 2nd and 10. Has a man open. It's Esquerdo inside the 5. Gerald Vaughn saves the touchdown. And the former Calgary Dinosaur has a big catch. The Eskimos came into the game with a touchdown efficiency rate inside the 25 of 67%. That was the league high. They've been down in this territory a couple of times without any majors to show for it this afternoon. But this is as deep as they've been. First and goal from the 3. Foggy comes back the other way. Will Johnson now in the end zone. Touchdown. Gary Morris went high to pull it down.
Number 5, Gary Morris. There's an Edmonton touchdown.
Excellent athletic ability by Ricky Foggy that time. Good, quick feet. Fronts out to the right-hand side. He wants to throw to the quick out. Nothing's going to do. The Calgary Stampeders really playing good press defense. They're up there with their men. And then the good feet come into effect. Ricky Foggy takes a good look. There he is. You see Morris right going up high. Will Johnson gets close to Ricky Foggy right before he throws the ball. Gives him a little shot up in the head.
First CFL touchdown for Gary Morris. It's touchdown pass number 4 for Ricky Foggy. They'll go for 2, and Foggy being chased into the end zone over the head of Christensen, picked off by Carl Anthony. So the Eskimos get 6 and trail by 16. There's the scoring drive for the Eskimos here late in the 3rd quarter, under 3 minutes to go now. And Gary Morris celebrates his first CFL touchdown, but with the score 29-13, it won't be a big celebration. Here's Wiggins coming across field and down at the 48-yard line. Sean Fleming, the kicker with the stop. But the Stamps have dominated all facets of the game this afternoon.
By Sean Fleming.
Wiggins has definitely atoned for any of those drop passes earlier. He even got a standing clap over there by Alan Pitts when he made that play. Great effort in there. So the Eskimos are trying to kick the ball short, trying to get it into the hole, just to get that coverage team down quickly, try to make a big hit, try to cause a fumble. Wiggins was having nothing to do with that.
Flutie stays in at quarterback. The sidelines incomplete.
Flutie's pass on the sideline.
Will Moore, the intended receiver.
82, Will Moore.
16 points seems insurmountable, but we were in Regina yesterday. A minute 10 was left, and Matt Dunnigan performed his magic. So
lots of time, lots of plays, and so a lot of things can happen in this very short time.
Second down and 10, Stampeders at the Edmonton 48.
For Edmonton, it has to happen right now.
Andy McVeigh stopped right at the line by Benny Goods.
Low line by Benny Goods.
Boy, this defense hasn't quit this afternoon for the Eskimos. It has been an impressive performance by the green and gold.
See a little hopping right there. When we were out on the field yesterday, there was some hornets that are down there. They congregate around, so they may have got stung by a bee.
Tony Martino letting the clock run. Down to 2 seconds before the snap of the football. And Eddie Brown in the end zone, and he puts the knee down. 2:13 to go, and it's now a 30-13 Calgary lead. And now they must score 3 different times, the Eskimos. If you were thinking about the miracle comeback, 2 touchdowns and 2 two-point converts could have tied it until that single.
Well, 3 scores in 2 minutes and 13 seconds are not very likely, as opposed to that they haven't had a chance to score only 1 in the previous 57 minutes.
Every one of you to come back to the next game. And Edmonton, thanks for coming out.
That was a 55-yard single by Tony Martino. At the 35, Ricky Foggy is at quarterback. Pass delivered high to Morris, and he was hit hard by Douglas Kraft.
Morris in the air, could not hold
The pass from Foggy left Gary Morris exposed.
Kraft with a big hit for the Stamp.
Douglas Kraft has really established himself to be a corner that has to have some respect, because he has really played extremely well today. That Calgary secondary doesn't look like it has missed a step with all the devastation that has taken place in the past few days.
I asked Ron Lancaster yesterday, going after the rookie Kraft. He said, well, he's a pretty good ball player. He showed us a lot in preseason. And he has been equally impressive here. Foggy gets it away, and it was almost picked off by Kraft. He's had his hands on a couple of balls.
Number 3, Douglas Kraft, who's there with the chance at the interception. Third down, Eskimos.
That would have been a nice capper for his day and CFL debut.
Ricky just trying to buy time. Mark Pierce is in pursuit. He can't get his shoulders turned to try to throw the ball back inside the J.P. Esquerdo, and then he throws it up just within the crowd. Very fortunate that that ball wasn't picked off. Very dejected Gizmo.
He'll be armed and dangerous next Friday night at Commonwealth, though.
You don't have a lot of time to worry about it. You can't go in the morning, because all of a sudden you got to think about it, look at the film, correct the mistakes, then you got to tee it up again next week.
Here's the smooth Crawford, flag down. Well, Ron Lancaster said it last night. This one is for 2 points. You're going to get a chance, hopefully, if you're an Eskimo, to get this team again in November when it's worth a lot more.
This team right now, with as much confidence as they're playing with out there, they don't care who comes in November.
First down, Calgary.
Like, if you bring it here, you better bring it. You better come big and come strong, because it's going to take you a while to take away that championship from these guys.
There's Rod Conop, who's been through the Labor Day Classic for so many years, 12-year veteran, and his dejection really tells the story.
Lancaster had just high praise for him. They felt that he was playing as soundly on that offensive line as he has had in the whole 12 years that he's played.
Andy McVeigh bounces off a tackle, and a big run for the fullback out of the University of Toronto, up to the 40-yard line for Andy McVeigh. His longest run of the season was 10 yards until that, and he hits 17.
He shows that power, deep handoff. Don Wilson, who's usually a very sure tackler, coming in on a blitz, hits him right in the power thing, right in the middle of the thighs. And he just shucks that away like it's a fly, and then he continues on for a big first down.
Right on target in just about every offensive category, Calgary today. Blair Zare is in for the injured Keevan Jenkins. And a short gain for Zaire with 1:19 to go. 30-13, Calgary leads. Mark?
Chris, one of the walking wounded on the Stampeder defense, Stu Laird. Stu, how's the knee, first of all?
It's coming along pretty good. Probably within a couple of weeks I'll be back.
Tough to watch such an outstanding defensive performance like this today.
Well, it is. I'd rather be playing, but the guys are playing great on defense.
Now, Stu's a full-time fireman as well as a football player. You got to work tonight?
Got to be at work by 5 o'clock, so no overtime today.
All right. Chris?
Stu will be back soon.
I kind of like it when you go in there, a big guy like that goes in and says, listen, cut the game short today, get it over with in regulation time.
Here's Sapunjas going up for that catch, and Don Wilson pulls him down. Turns out to be a loss on the play, but a catch for Sapunjas, his 6th of the game. And Benny Goods, who we saw hobbling a bit in the last series, is down again. We talked about Edmonton wanting a crack at Calgary in November. Dave Ritchie and the BC Lions and Don Matthews and the Saskatchewan Roughriders are saying, wait a minute, we want to be there too.
Everybody's going to line up and take numbers. It's like waiting in the meat counter at one of the supermarkets there. Take a number, wait in line, because the champs are going to be there waiting on you.
And bringing a can, a food donation for the Calgary.
We're winding down, and they're gearing up at Ivor Wynne Stadium in Hamilton, and it is filling up at Ivor Wynne. Nice to see a good crowd on hand for that one. What a weekend it's been for the Canadian Football League. A big crowd yesterday in Regina, of course, and the Argos and Hamilton Tiger Cats getting set for a game that despite their records, is a big one, because if one of those teams can get on track, they can they can certainly take over second place in a hurry in that Eastern Division.
And the main thing is that you're playing for bragging rights, and there's some pride involved. And when you get out there playing for those two elements, you can really turn the intensity level up high.
Yeah, and there's a lot of wounded pride right now in the Ontario-based teams in the CFL.
11 at the Calgary 40-yard line. Tony Martino's in punt formation.
Again, these two teams meet next Friday at Commonwealth Stadium. We're looking forward to Sunday afternoon at Winnipeg Stadium. Saskatchewan Roughriders and the Blue Bombers will play in their second game of their back-to-back series. Martino's kick bouncing down to the 15, where Gizmo Williams gets it back to the 20, pick up a 5, 22 seconds left for Calgary to put the finishing touches on a Labor Day win for just the second time in the last 6 years. Dedicated to Kenton Leonard. And a somber weekend for the Calgary Stampeders. We'll have a good feeling when this one is over. Mark Pierce knocked the ball loose. Here's Matt Finley. The linebacker has it down to the 11 with 10 seconds to go. Well, it's fitting, Kep, because the defense, I think, for Calgary has been the biggest story of this afternoon.
Well, they certainly have. They rose to the occasion. Doug Flutie, for all intents and purposes, was struggling a bit in this game early, and then all of a sudden, the defense kept getting the ball back to him, and sooner or later, he figured out the niche and where he had to go to attack this Edmonton defense, and he did it extremely well. And then Matt Finley, the old Finn dog, picks up a ball and is able to make it. See, those guys, that's where the old veteran, he knows he's supposed to run around a little slower and run out the whole clock, because that's the way those linebackers are sometimes.
7th turnover of the game for the Eskimos, who committed just 12 in the first 9 weeks. Steve Taylor comes in for this final play or two. Let's see if he can push it in. The former Eskimo out of Nebraska, quarterback for Calgary. And he's in trouble and down behind the line of scrimmage with 3 seconds left. Tony Woods, I guess it's fitting, from Oklahoma, would make the tackle on a guy from Nebraska.
You talk about rivalries. Now, there's a couple that have gone head-to-head before.
Kemp, the Stampeders are indeed the class of the league. They keep proving it week after week. Doug Flutie and company 10-0.
Even more pressure on him. With every win comes, the closer it gets to the end of the season, there's so much pressure on him because now they beat the Edmonton Eskimos on Labor Day. Now it has to be an undefeated season, for these fans to be really satisfied, I think.
They'll get the 3 points here, and the final play. It's 33-13 the final. The Calgary Stampeders win their Labor Day Classic as we go down to Markley.
And that runs the Stampeder winning streak to 10 straight games. The perfect season still possible. We'll be back right after this. With a 33-13 win over the Eskimos in the annual Labor Day Classic. And Doug Flutie throwing 3 touchdown passes. This one hanging in to the very last moment before finding one of his favorite targets, Dave Sapunjas, just over the goal line. The 10th touchdown reception of the season for Dave Sapunjas. And for Doug Flutie, your first ever win in a Labor Day game. That's something you haven't done.
I 1 for 2 now, and last year was our first one, and we didn't do so hot. I think the key to today was not turning the ball over. They played good defense, but we couldn't turn the ball over, be patient.
10 in a row. The pressure's going to keep building because you're the kings of the hill. Congratulations, Doug.
Thanks a lot.
Doug Flutie winning the Labor Day Classic 33-13 over the Eskimos. Now let's go to part 2 of the doubleheader at Hamilton.